Hey guys, it's Sam with the Film Fan Club here to review a couple more things for you today before I head out of town for Louisville, Kentucky for a week. Wish me luck at Skills USA Nationals. But before I do that, I saw Disney Pixar's new sequel, Finding Dory. I think it's been like 13 years since the original film Finding Nemo, and this film, as the title kind of hints at, it centers on Dory, who is played by Ellen DeGeneres from the first film. Of course, Marvin and Nemo come back, and then we get some of the original first film characters as well, but mostly this is her story. It's her adventure. She realizes that, they play into her short-term memory loss, and that's more of a plot device here rather than just kind of a comedic relief as it was in the first film. And then she remembers that she had a family. Dory had a family, so the plot, or her plot really, is to go find her family, and I liked that. It was nice. Now I have our pros and cons lists written in front of me. So what am I going to talk about for the pros? Starting off, firstly, this is a pro, but it's not really for Finding Dory. It's just for Pixar in general because they had a great short film that was in front of it. Pixar is just fantastic when it comes to these short films. They keep knocking it out of the park, even whenever it's just kind of a meh short film. It's still pretty good. This particular one was, I think it was about this little bird that it's a little seagull on the side of a beach or something, and it hatches, and it's used to its mom feeding him, and then one day it's got to go get what's the inside of the contents of a clam so it can eat on its own, and it's just so cute watching its little adventure. It's like 5 or 6, 7 minutes. I almost liked it more than Finding Dory. But that's how I feel with a lot of these Pixar films that are like, the movie was okay, but that short was fantastic. Now, what else did I like? Now, moving on to my actual pros about Finding Dory, the film itself. Oh, if my phone will actually unlock. The animation is fantastic. As for both the short film and Finding Dory, they're both very good. The looks photorealistic as far as the backgrounds go. The colors of the fish are vibrant. It's really weird though, going from the photorealistic, even looking animals in the short film, and then going into these fish with giant eyes in Finding Nemo. But the fish are animated beautifully. I thought it looked really well. The Finding Dory, the Dory family story, and her trying to find her family, I thought that was really poignant. You continually go back and forth between present day and Dory's childhood, up through Dory's teen years, and then kind of up you eventually learn how she met Marvin in the first film. And of course, it's really nice to see all that from a different perspective, but also it kind of adds some different levels of context, of emotion to Dory's journey. So I really liked that because I was really worried, is Dory going to be a character that we actually care about? Because first film Finding Nemo was it was such a straightforward father-son story about this guy trying to find his son who had been kidnapped, and Finding Dory kind of needed an emotional center, and it found that emotional center, and I think it worked for the most part. I'll get into a little bit how it kind of maybe lost it, but for now it had it. Ellen DeGeneres is just great as Dory. Her performance throughout, it's comedic, it's hilarious. She's just perfectly at home in this role. She hasn't aged a day, and she just slipped. It fit her like a glove. She slipped right back into the role perfectly, and I really liked seeing her do it. It wasn't it didn't feel forced. It didn't feel like at any time I was like, okay, I'm listening to Ellen DeGeneres, the comedian, try and do a bit. I actually felt like I was watching the character Dory, so it really worked in that aspect. Interaction between Marvin and Nemo was really nice. This is something that was different from the first film, because the first film, of course, it was Finding Nemo, so it was Dory and Marvin trying to find Nemo together. This time you get a little bit of a father-son kind of road trip side story with Marvin and Nemo trying to find Dory as Dory's off looking for her family. And that was really great to see the interaction. The way kind of Nemo kind of gives his old man a hard time was really interesting, and I liked getting to just hang out with those two characters that we had met over 10 years ago, and then kind of get to see them in a new light, because we didn't really get to see Nemo and Marvin interact a lot in the first film, like I said, so that was a good bonus for this. The new characters are really fun in this film. There's a octopus named Hank, and then there's this beluga whale, and there's this whale shark, I believe, and they all go along. I think Dory meets them in the sea park that she goes to. It's almost like a Sea World, but I remember when Blackfish came out and that became really popular, and they rewrote parts of Finding Dory. They said that they would change it to make it fit in light of that. And then I realized, okay, so then every time you see the SeaWorld park in the film, they emphasize that all these animals are going back, they're being rehabilitated back to the ocean. It's all about taking care of and preserving wildlife, so you could tell they changed it to make it more family friendly and politically correct, and it works too. I like getting to see that because it lent itself to the plot very well, especially with Hank's storyline. Some of the cons, because this isn't a perfect film, they try to make a story out of Dory's memory loss, and it kind of works, but becomes grating because her as a character, when she forgets everything literally 5 seconds after you tell her that, it just does. Characters become annoyed with her in the movie, and when those characters became annoyed with her, I was also becoming annoyed with her. I was like, come on, Dory, let's just get it together. I don't remember it being that bad in the original film. I don't remember it where, like, we tell her something and literally 5 seconds later she forgets it. I thought it just kind of happened periodically throughout, but in this film it's like all the time, and it became a little overwhelming. The plot seems straightforward at first, but then it does kind of lose itself with the family storyline, because once she gets inside the aforementioned SeaWorld-esque wildlife rehabilitation center, it becomes kind of convoluted, because it's like, okay, well, we got to go here to find her parents. Oh no, we got to go here. Oh wait, no, we got to do this, and then it's just all, and then we meet all these other characters, and everyone has their own side story, and it's just kind of like, okay, wait, what are we doing? So that would have been a little bit tightening up there would have been nice. And then my phone keeps locking, so whenever I'm trying to look at it, the plot seems straightforward. There's a nonsensical car chase scene at the end, and you really don't know how would you get a car chase scene into a movie, a sequel to Finding Nemo, but they do it, and it reminded me of Over the Hedge. So maybe that's just a con because it was so ridiculous, whereas Finding Nemo was a I don't remember Pixar getting that ridiculous with their storylines, a car chase in a fish film. That seemed like something that DreamWorks would do, or like Over the Hedge would do, or something like one of those, like, I don't want to say lesser studios, but not like it doesn't seem like a Disney Pixar thing. I don't know, it was weird. It just fell out of place. That whole sequence seemed out of place. So that's why it's a con. And this whole film altogether, it was a good film, but it just kind of felt a little bit anticlimactic, because this is like 13 years later. It's like, oh my gosh, this is the follow-up to Finding Nemo, this movie that we've all known since we were kids. I can't wait to see what happens next. And it's this nice little film about Dory trying to find her family, and we learn a little bit more about her character, and we have some more laughs with Dory, but overall it's just something you walk away from and you're like, yeah, that was a good kids film at the theater. And it's just, I don't know if it's something because I was a kid when I saw the original film, so I was like, all throughout growing up and into it becoming an adult, I'm like, whoa, oh my gosh, this thing from my childhood is going to come back and it's going to have that same feeling. Or and whenever it does, the sequel comes out, it's just kind of like meh, because I'm a 20-year-old now rather than an 8-year-old. So overall, I give Finding Dory a 7 out of 10. It's a good film. Definitely go see it if you like the first film, and if you want to see where these characters go, and you want to have a little bit of that nostalgia back, because it's there, but it's not as prevalent as I thought it would be in the film. The way, this isn't like The Force Awakens, where it's like really awesome and you get to see the next part of the story, but it doesn't need to be, because it's not Star Wars. It's Finding Nemo, and you just want to see another character or another movie with these characters, and you want to have fun with it, and that's what you do here. And that's why I give it 7 out of 10. So, my name's Sam Carrico for the Film Fan Club. I thank you for watching this, and I hope that you watch more videos. I think I'm doing Orange is the New Black Season 4, Episodes 1 through 3 review coming up soon, and I've done a lot of other reviews, so make sure you check those out. And follow me on the various social media sites. You can follow me at Samuel D. Carrico. Thanks a lot, guys. See you next time.